my next guest tonight, joining me here on Punky's MixTape, is coming out of New York City. I'd like everybody to welcome to the show Whitney Flynn of N Daze. How we doing?
Fucking fantastic. Like always. What's new?
Oh, hanging out, enjoying the night. Hope you're doing well. I know many of us, 74 million of us right now, are celebrating all across the United States.
Yay! Like, earlier yesterday, like, I just heard like an immense amount of like people banging on pots and like just screaming out of my from the window, and I was like, shit's going down. And I ran up to, because I live on the top floor, so I ran up to the roof, and oh my goodness, I cried my little eyes out. I was just like screaming, fuck Trump, and everyone's like, yeah, fuck Trump. And I was like, this is all I ever wanted. It felt like New Year's or like my birthday or something.
It was all of that compact into one. It was your birthday and Christmas and Halloween and a bat mitzvah and a quinceañera all into one.
It was like, it was so emotional. Like, I don't know, like being from the border, like of Texas and Mexico, like, and being biracial, like it was just, it's just like, there's so much systematic change that needs to happen, but this is like a necessary step to getting everyone to be okay, just like
proper representation all across the board.
Other's back, to have these civil rights that we should already fucking have. It's 2020. Get your shit together, world. Like,
seriously, from science deniers and just some of the things we've dealt with over the last 4 years. Like, even this year with science deniers, like, oh my god,
it's so awkward.
Oh, your god.
Like, what do you like? Okay, like, you don't believe in science. What do you say to that? You're like,
don't. I just slowly.
You just like slowly walk away.
My chair backwards, and it was like,
I don't have room for my chair. I'll be like,
I can't sit at a table with you if you don't believe that science exists, because how did this fucking table get built?
Like, how the fuck do you you can't just educate people yourself all the time. I mean, you can. That's the point, but like there's so much energy that needs to be put into like volunteering, like going to the protests, like being an advocate and other.
It's exhausting having to teach idiots how to be decent people.
I don't know.
We can say it. We can say that.
Especially it is like our, like, I'm gonna get all silly, but as far as like prejudice shit goes, like I'm white passing, so it is like there is like a huge responsibility of, especially people that have this like privilege of being like, I don't know, to be able to like educate, like, especially fucking racist, like, chill, dude. Like my entire advice for everyone that's fucking freaking out, I'm like, drink some fucking water and take a goddamn fucking nap. Like, chill. You need to understand that the thing that you're fighting for, that passion, needs to be redirected to something more like conducive to existence, instead of, because they have so much fucking energy, like they have so much fucking passion, and if that was all compounded and like redirected to something that was
positive, based on love, based on science,
on something that was not
any of the above,
like it's been done, dudes. Like why are you trying to bring up shit that like It's been done. It doesn't end well for you. Like, it started bad for us, but it ends horrible for you. Like, yeah.
Absolute truth. Absolute truth.
Yeah. And I mean, like allies and like, see, I'm getting all silly, but being able to educate, I guess that's an energy that I think people like shouldn't have to do, you know, but it is necessary. And as like a white passing person, and like being able to bridge those gaps, don't need to be relied on people that are being oppressed, like, you know. And so
no, I totally understand where you're coming from, you know, where you shouldn't have to, you know, it's an unnecessary to have to go and re-educate
oppressed,
what should be common decency, you know, but it's the type of work that needs to be done. It's incredibly exhausting having to talk to arrogant, ignorant people. But if you can break through even the one person, then you've truly made a difference, you know, because then it's one less hateful person out in the world.
I think it's really up to like the allies to make that education known, because like people of color, like I'm biracial, like we're already dealing with it, like, you know what I mean? And having to also educate, like, it just kind of adds more oppression, I suppose. Like being like, oh, you hate me, but I have to be kind to you and educate you on why not to hate me. Like, I think that's where, of course, that's ever like, my point is, I think it's like definitely based on allies and people that can really, I don't know, just bridge that fucking, that gap that shouldn't even fucking be there. Like, and it's not like they're the ones that are doing it, you know. They yeah
it's a step forward here, you know, in the United States, which is a fantastic thing, and many of us all around the world are celebrating with open hearts and open minds right now,
for sure.
So Whitney, for my mixtapers that may not be familiar with N Daze, tell us a little bit about yourself and about the band.
Okay, so my band is super silly. So we're like an acoustic band, but we play punk music, but not really, and it's kind of ska. It's just fucking weird. We talk about not only politics, like we brush on politics, addiction, like just basically me and Jessie, who's our guitarist, write about our lives, and we write our story, like through sometimes yelling and sometimes just, I don't know, our sounds really eclectic just because it's written in the time that we're writing it. It's not, there's no point, like, or there's no end to, like, end game, like, there's, oh my gosh, I'm stuttering again. But we write because that's what we hear in our heads, and we have to share that. So yes, and I play the trumpet, and we have a guitarist, Jessie, and we have a gut bucket, which is just a bucket and a stick and a string. That's Jeff Bell. And then we have a washboard that plays, oh no, our washboard player is named Megan, and she's incredible. And our band shouldn't make sense, but it does, and I'm really happy about it. Yeah.
I think that's one of my favorite things about y'all is the eclectic nature, the diversity in the band, the diversity in style, you know, that and nothing but, you know, positivity and honesty. You don't shy away from some of the hardships that you've endured. You actually wear them on your sleeve. And I think that's what attracted me to the band in the first place, was actually hearing some unbelievably earnest lyrics that I was like, holy fuck.
It's so
I've been in that spot, not not in the same shoes, but we've walked a very similar path, and it's refreshing to hear that.
It's weird because sometimes, or most of the time, I'll write a song and it ends so dark. It's like I feel bad for myself, and so I just like replace like nothing will get better to like everything's gonna be okay. So it's kind of honestly like I guess it's redirecting my story and giving myself hope with taking all those negative things and being like, at the end of the song, it will get better. Like, we will get through this. We will survive the night. Like, and just changing a few words makes like the biggest difference. And I think that can be applied to like our lives also, because no one wants to hear those original versions of my songs, because they'll be like, oh my god, that bitch needs a hug. But seriously, just editing a little bit at a time. Yeah, that was.
And I think, like I said, it's the journey and some of the hardships and experiences that you've endured and lived through is something that a lot of us of this newer generation are things that we've learned to endure, things that we've gotten through, that some of us still dealing with. And I think that voice, that representation, it's something that you don't always see every day. And I think that's what what brought my attention to the band years ago, was I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, it's real, it's gritty, it's dirty, it's raw, and it's honest. Like, but the truth isn't always pretty, you know, and that's what some people need to realize in this world. And I think it's one of the things I get a lot from your music, is it's like, here's like the honest truth. And it might not always be the most polished thing, but like I said, the truth isn't always pretty.
Life isn't polished. Life isn't supposed to be like, I don't know. I mean, it can be, I guess.
Every once in a while you get magic moments like that.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a weird concept. When you were asking me, it's like, what is your band? We never set out to be like anything. I think there's like this need to be heard, even if you're like shouting into the void, just saying it. Like, we've been a band for 12 years, and like that shouting was a long time before anyone was like, is someone saying something? Like, and then that one person was like, okay. And then.
So Days and Days been around for a little over a decade now. What has the journey been like thus far?
It has been like my life story, I suppose. It's there's blurred lines between tour and my band and my real life. It's because it's so intertwined. Like, our entire existence is not only just experiencing, like, whether it be trauma or happiness or freedom or feeling oppressed. It's, people would assume that we have like another life besides touring and playing music and writing this music. It's basically, you can go back to 2008 and listen to our like 9 albums and splits, and basically just listen to me and Jessie's life, especially like growing up together. Our band has, like, us being both the writers, it's mirroring our experience, just figuring out what the fuck is going on, like just trying to be like, figure out how to be your best person, or how to process being, and forgiving yourself for being the worst person. It's all about like this continuous, I'm gonna sound like a hippie, but journey of what to like bring to other people, like, I guess, and other people connecting with that has in turn made us feel not alone, and with them saying that they're not alone. So all of our emotional songs and all of our political songs are really directly like pointed at the things that affect us. And I know that's selfish, but it's our songs, and we don't write songs that are topical. We're not like, this is the song that we're gonna write. It's very, very like natural, like, or sporadic, being like, I wrote this fucking thing in 30 minutes, or this took me 3 years to write, you know? It's
deeply personal part of the journey.
Yeah.
You know, and it's kind of a timestamp of like when you were in that moment, that time and place.
Yeah, 100%. And people are like, I don't like that. I don't relate to that. I'm like, it's okay. That's okay, because we weren't expecting anyone to even listen to it in the first place, let alone like, I don't, getting signed to Fat, and so many people, like the fact that we can validate a lot of emotions and like places in people's lives, and being like perfectly dysfunctional, like, you're okay, just reminding people that it's, everything is gonna work out how it's supposed to, is the best thing in my life. And them saying that to us really, it validates like that we're not alone. Like, that's what it's like, friends not fans. Like, like when they say like they connect with our music, we're like, oh my god, like someone here's like connects with us, like it's a very mutual personal thing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's incredibly revealing. You're so willing to put so much of yourself into your lyrics, into your songwriting, and deeply personal subject matters, from, as you said, politics to addiction to just the different trials and tribulations in your life, let it be, albeit positive or even negative. You don't shy away from that. And I think that's what people, especially myself, relate to so well, is that you're able to hit this kind of timestamp, but also I think it's rooted in a way, and it's written in a way that it can have different meanings to different individuals. Like you can listen to one track and I might get something out of it, and then the way that your interpretation is, you're gonna get something else out of it. So it's kind of also, it's revealing in this moment, but it's also ambiguous in nature with the way that the lyrics are written. Yeah. And I find myself that there'll be different times of,
you read into them, you like you'd be like, oh, they're actually pretty specific, but it's like in code, because me and Jessie like grew up together, so it's like all these like, it's kind of crazy. But
that's when you have your your own language with your best friend, though, and that just goes to show the extent of your friendship as well, and just what you're able to create together. if a handful of us, hundreds to thousands of us are able to pull our own ambiguous meaning and find purpose, and also have a semblance of no longer feeling alone, feeling connected to something, like, wow, I went through something very similar, and it's good to know that there's somebody else, even though we may not know each other, there's somebody else out in the world that I understands what I'm going through in my travels, in my journeys. And, it's not as dark then.
Yeah. I mean, I think what I've realized, like, life is lonely, and it's just like, no matter what, even how many like people you have around you, it's like, it's a very personal experience, like being yourself. Like, I don't know, that's obvious, but there is this giant fucking strength in vulnerability. And I think I'm way too honest and way too blunt, and like, here's everything that I am. Like, take it or fucking leave it. Like, this is it. The people that take advantage of that, bye. Like, get the fuck out of my life. Like, here it is. Like there is something to be said with, I guess, owning, I don't know, just really fucking loving yourself. We were talking about this earlier. Just being like, this is a part of me. I'm gonna love the shit out of that. I'm gonna fucking, like, this is another part of me. I'm gonna work on that. I'm gonna work the fuck out of that. Like, there's this amazing relationship that you need, like, to have, or you don't have to have. I don't want to be like, this is what you need to do, but there's this amazing relationship of all the parts of you that do come with the quiet times, or do come with like a song that like ignites that part of you. And I or that you write, like, with my music, I constantly write. I feel bad for Jessie, because like sometimes I'll just be like, here, and it's like a book, and be like, is it good enough? Like, put music to it, and he's like, and I'm like, yes, I want it to go like doopy doopy doop. No, I don't know. Jessie is like the best like, I don't know, he's incredible. I basically, sometimes when we're writing, I'm just like, okay, just imagine this, and then I build this entire like scenario, being like, okay, so there's this girl, and she's like having this thing, like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, because
it's like an unspoken language between you and your best friend, and after this many years, so much
what I want to interpret
said without being spoken.
Yeah. And I do write more poetry than I do. There's like a way that I write that's very, I don't know, it's I don't know, it's
just your voice, in times it may be more poetic than lyrically, and then then you start to collaborate with Jessie and stuff like that, and then you're able to formulate it into this unified voice together.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Jessie was definitely the person that inspired me to like pick up the ukulele, and I was just like, this is what's in my head. I don't have to just hum it to him anymore and give him my words. So that was like a huge thing when we were younger. I was just like, just understanding that you might have this, like, I don't know, this preemptive like notion that you can't do this. But when you stop feeling that way, I'm like, oh, I can do everything. Like, and writing those songs on the uke or on the guitar, and like I wrote one song on the banjo. How I did that, I don't know. I mean, I was very sad. If anyone wants to listen to it, Little Blue Pills Part 3.
That is a sad song.
Yeah.
That is a sad song.
I only write sad songs. I'm sorry.
But
Yeah.
don't be at the same time, because
No. Yeah.
you're sharing a private part of yourself, which I personally can vouch. It has been incredibly therapeutic for so many people all across the world. So albeit you may like, this is a sad song and this might be a hard experience that you've had to endure, but at the same time, where your passion and that also that sadness, that those things that you've experienced have offered light to others, have offered positivity when other people have needed it most. And we know that when you're in the thralls of rock bottom and just completely bottoming out, feeling like you're not alone, to feel like you're a part of something, that somebody cares, gives you a greater sense of self. So albeit, yes, you do write sad music,
but I want to write my perfect song. Like, I think that's the entire like, honestly, like, my whole goal is, you always strive to be like, what I was saying earlier is like, my catchphrase is like, I'll never be happy, I'll never be satisfied. And I need to keep writing songs because I need to keep explaining myself. Like, there's this like fucked up place in your head where it's like, you're not good enough. You need to say more. You need to speak more correctly. You need to like prove yourself more. And sometimes I feel like my writing process is like, it is that. It's like, okay, this is one weight lifted off. Like, and then they can, like, everyone can have it now. So I don't have to carry it. And then like, I have a huge list of like all my traumas and all of these things. I'm like, I have to like relieve from myself from carrying, because I mean, honestly, it baggage, like, you carry around with you, and like, if it was actual reality, like, yeah, people will be like, hey, what's up with all that? And you're like, no, it's fine, look at me, I'm smiling, I like to drink, let's have fun, let me embarrass myself, and then just throw it on the luggage, like, I think I can't die, because I'll never, like, I want to write something one day that I guess every song that I write, it's the whole thing. I just don't want to feel alone. Like, I want to be seen, and it's not like I want to be seen as like Whitney from Days and Days or something. It's just like, everyone doesn't want to feel alone in their hurt. Like, and if I can, I guess, oh my gosh, I keep forgetting, like, people listen to my music. I'm like, oh, if I can, like, I don't know, I mean, it's just an overwhelming feeling to just be able to be a voice, or like, that people can feel, because it's like, we're here, we're in this shit, like, we're not fucking alone, we are alone. And we're not alone, it's like, it's so weird, but
it's that duality,
can help people.
Again,
that's all I want to
that duality that we also live in, there, there are times when you want nothing more just to shut off the world, but at the same time, we know that we're a small piece of a larger puzzle that is the society that we live in, so at the same time, we have almost a social responsibility to each other,
Yeah.
So I think when we find artists, singers, songwriters, musicians that we correlate an emotional connection to, I think it's the same idea as when you're writing and working through these things. You're compartmentalizing these emotions, and sometimes what we endure, it's so hard to personify and to put into words. And so you're looking
and it's like not okay.
around for that.
It's like stigma, like it's stigmatized. Like people, there's a stigma against like being an addict or being like mentally ill or like self-harm. Like there's a lot of isolation with those things, and with politics, like there's a lot of fucking isolation, which like you basically get blocked off, and then you got to put on makeup and be like dressed like a girl and be like, this is me, and when just to be accepted. And through music, I think like there's the only truth that I have in my entire fucking life is through my fucking words. Like it fuels me. It legitimately like solidifies me as being like validated to live, these truths that you can't necessarily tell people, because like me, I like all my friends are dead, so it's like I'm just that validation, like I don't know, people listening to it, and there's so much weight that carries with everyone's words, and being able to put it into music gives a like a more like related like relative, like oh my goodness, I'll stutter bugs, but like a relatable way of connecting with people, being like, if I sing this pretty or if I sing this hard, like maybe it putting all the words together in the right way and putting all the notes, like all the chords together in a certain way, people will accept you. And that's a constant thing in my head. I guess I'm rambling so hard, but it is it I when I think about songs, or when I think about my life, I just like think about the dictionary. I'm like, it's all there. I just have to puzzle piece it together, and 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 then someone will listen, because like being shut up from your actual life gets amplified with your music. No one can take away your voice. Oh my gosh, like no one can take that away. They can shut you up as much as they want, but at the fucking end of the day, no matter who the fuck is talking to you, who the fuck is judging you, who the fuck is saying anything, all you gotta fucking worry about is puzzle piecing the dictionary and figuring out the right way to say something, and then what the fuck are they gonna do? Because that's your truth. Like that's like validating yourself as like my music over the 12 years. It's like it's my I'm into it. Yeah.
And you're right. Like what you were saying is when you're writing about these personal truths that are so brutally honest, about addiction, self-identity, politics, any of those things, especially with any addiction and mental health. Those are facets that people put off to the side. They're the gritty parts of society that aren't pretty. They don't fit in perfect places. So people put blinders on to them. They ignore them. So when people who have been so marginalized for so long, all they want to is just be seen as themselves, which is an important message, and I think that's for me right there is where I find so much personal truth of myself via your music, is that I've been able to sit and help reflect on my situation, or albeit it is different from yours and different from Jessie and different from everybody else, but it offers
yours. It's like, it's important.
Exactly. So it helps bring visibility to important social issues, but at the same time, the candidness and the honesty of it all allows for self-reflection, and I think for personal growth. Which if a band can give you that, then you truly have something special.
Yeah, I'll be an emo band till the day I die if I can connect with people and tell them, be like, okay, I'm gonna bring this up because I told you I was gonna bring it up, but I'm bipolar with CPTSD with an impulse disorder. I'm sorry about my Facebook post or everything I delete, but you and I stutter, I guess, yeah. And there is this strength that we all fucking have of being I am what I was saying earlier, all the things that maybe people judge you on. It's I'm not you can't man, you you're not replaceable. You there will never be another imprint like yours. There is something very, we were talking about this and I was like,
there's something unique and beautiful to every individual.
Love the fuck out of yourself, because no one else is gonna love you as much as you love yourself, and getting to know all of the different assets of your triggers or your anger or your quiet times, or how you talk to your dead friends, and the way you whisper and the way you comfort yourself. There's this very intimate, very true truth of existing. And I through my songs, I try my best to I edit a lot because I'm that's too much, but too much is just overflow for the next song, and it's always going to be too much, and I'm always going to be too people are always going to be like, oh, that's too much. I'm like, I already said that, here's the next song. But we're all striving to write that perfect song, but maybe it's not just one song, it's just a collection of all of the stories and who we continuously are, become. I don't know. We're all grown up. I'm 30 years old. I'm yeah, hell yeah. I'm not done. Too bad. Sorry, losers. I'm gonna keep living. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I didn't know what word to say. I was just
oh, you're doing fine.
Yeah.
So,
oh my gosh, I have a shirt that Jessie made me, and it's our dog Tim in a Santa hat. And it's give me presents, losers. It's really cute. Anyways, that's where the loser. Yeah.
I dig it.
Okay, cool.
So I'm sure that this journey, has been something that you obviously just couldn't even imagine when you first started on, because nobody knows exactly where they're going to go when they step out the door on a new adventure, you know? So what moments for you have just radiated with just beauty and love and but just like, I can't believe this just happened. Like, what moments for you while being in Days and Days have just been like almost awe-inspiring and almost like, is this actually real? Is this even happening?
Okay, so when me and Jessie were together like for a long time, but the first time that I broke up with him, I remember like crying to my roommate, being like, "But the band!" And she was like, "Whitney, there is no band. Like, we didn't have like any recorded, like it was, I don't know what was ingrained in my head, but I was like, this is important and I love this." She was like, "Whitney, there is no band." And I was like, "Fuck you." And like, sorry, Shelby, but there's been like this definite fucking importance with, oh my gosh, just an immense amount, like it doesn't even make sense in my fucking head how we're here. Like, me and Jessie have just like grown up and been, I remember, my gosh, I'll say this one thing. We ate like frog legs.
Ooh.
And we were in France, and they were like, "Oh, there's like a new, like a topless beach, right? You just gotta go straight." And I drank like my vodka. Sorry, Mom, but I started just running down the street, just ripping my clothes off. And I had like giant, like saggy ass fucking like granny panties on. I don't even give a fuck. I was like, everyone's got to deal with it. And I was just like running down the street, my titties being like this because I don't have titties. They're like, meow, meow. But anyways, I was just like running, and I was just like, ah! And then I jumped into the ocean. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. If I could bottle that 30 seconds of just like being
that carefree and just in the moment.
It was just like, I'm living my dream. Like it was the most just being underwater, that few, like that 30 seconds, just, and sitting there and just being like, how like all your yelling did something, like I don't know, that I wish I could bottle it and give it to everyone, because that 30 seconds was like, and there's a picture of me like jumping up from the water. I'm like, oh, like it's so rowdy. And I was like, cool, Winnie. Like
that moment.
I mean, it only took, oh my gosh, oh my goodness. And it was like in Nice, and I was just like, beautiful water. And I thought about, it's like when your life flashes through your,
and then it was a deep moment of this immense satisfaction.
It was appreciation, like, honestly, like 100%. I've felt that a few times. I feel like appreciating moments is like a lot, like, because you can actually put everything in, instead of just being like, no, I like, just keep living your life. Like, I'm miserable, I'm depressed, meow, I'm bipolar, and I have all these things, and I have all the ailments, like whatever But at the end of the day, it's like that those 30 seconds that maybe you can feel like once a day and just like really embrace everything that's going on and set, I don't know.
No, you're definitely onto something.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, because like it's one of those realizations I've had as I've gotten older, you know, getting into my 30s now, closer to 40 than I'd like to admit. But
30 now, what? Getting crazy.
The 30 foghorn, just but as we get, you know, as we get older, you know, when you're young, you think that, you know, life is these big, like cinematic moments.
Yes. Oh my God.
Like they happen every once in a while, and they're cool when they do, but they're moments like
not
30
cool.
seconds in time.
They're usually like being like, wow, that was traumatic as fuck. I'm looking at like, holy shit. All those cinematic moments are like really cute to begin with, but oh my God, I'm jaded. And I'm gonna be like, that's kind of Stockholm syndrome, like in my opinion, being like, but they were good once. I remember that one time. I think I like staying with someone just because of that one, you're trying to relive. I mean, it's the same with like addiction. It's like you're trying to relive that one high. But sometimes I'm telling you this because it's like the most incredible fucking feeling to have that just for you. Oh my gosh.
Moments, those small,
but like
what seem like seemingly small moments, but are actually the bigger ones of your life.
It's like what was I saying earlier? Like the world is revolving around you instead of you revolving around the world. Like it I don't know. I've had it a couple times, but that was the one that I can actually like speak about. But
those are important, you know, because those are the types of things that get you through, say, some of the larger, more difficult, you know, events in your life, when you can actually earnestly look back and be like, you know what, this one was mine. This one is me.
Mine. Like no one can take that shit.
Exactly.
No one could be underwater with me, and I was like, I can barely swim.
But here I am.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
And that's yours.
I still live in that, like the smile is still living in that moment. It's like,
and that's important, you know, don't ever lose that, you know, because that's the type of stuff that we need to hold on to in the darkest moments.
I know.
You know, as we're fighting this darkest timeline we've been in.
Yeah, it's a whole thing about holding your own hands, or if you don't have a hand, oh gosh, but just embracing yourself, I suppose, and taking the time to listen to yourself and trust yourself and validate yourself and be like my story is important. Like there's so many people that have tried to be like the protagonist in my story, and I'm like, that's not how it works. Like you can be a part of it, but I have in the past like been subjected to being someone else's like side note or something. But I mean, I'm 30 now. Woo, yes. And I'm like, you gotta fucking appreciate every single step. Like, I don't know, just be like, this is mine. You can't take that away. Like, you can't shut it up. And like being shut up is always gonna happen, but writing music or taking a picture or drawing or like be a fucking badass at like spreadsheets, and or like anything that you're passionate about, like that is so much more important than someone else trying to make you into just like a line in their fucking story. Fuck them.
Yeah, you
aren't even gonna be in my story. That's what I'm saying. you don't even make it into my story. Like all these fools.
Like,
should I snap her?
You're not even on the back cover. See ya.
Yeah. And you're gonna read it just to feel like you're important. Haha. I'm not speaking to anyone specifically at all. But I am to
But
my
I am.
life, like a few years ago, I was like, should I snap more? I don't know. You just gotta be saucy, like, I don't know, own your shit. Or or what was I saying? Be quiet. Because they'll wrap themselves, like, people get confused when you don't give a shit. And you're like, okay, I'm gonna go this way. And they're like, no. And then they run after you and you're like, and I'm not just talking about relationships, I'm talking about like everything. Yeah, it's just you gotta figure out where your energy goes to and realize what will help you instead of what's gonna help them. And they're like take 2 seconds and be like, is this gonna help? Like, is this where my energy needs to go, or is this just gonna like be annoying? Like, and most of the time it's just annoying, and you're like, oh well, let's do something that's
beneficial,
or making spreadsheets, or like putting your energy into something that really will like uplift you and make you see everything that you already are. And that's like the biggest it's cool. Like, it's like I don't know, getting things done is like the biggest kind of mirror of who you, I don't know. I just, yeah. I'm gonna ramble and ramble.
That's all right. We'll pull it back in a little. So I'm curious, as you've played now all over the world, and
on 28, like not all over the world,
but a good portion of it, much more than I have.
I'm just kidding.
But are there any particular show memories over your travels that stand out over some of the others?
Why are you even telling me this? You just want me to speak forever. Okay. So, right. We were in, where were we? Barcelona. And they were like, someone can't ride in the van. They don't have enough room for one person. And everyone was like, looked at me and was like, okay. I was just like, I guess I'll venture by myself, because I was the only one that had traveled like internationally by myself. So I was like, and I know some Spanish. Muy poquito. Like, it was fine. So it's like, yeah, I'll do it. It's fine. So I ended up like meeting my friend in Spain, and we just like partied all night. We were just like talking and like I don't know, just like shooting the shit, I guess. Like, and I was like, oh fuck, I gotta make my bus. And it was like 6 in the morning or 7. And I was just like, okay. So I left, got on the bus, and then I fell asleep. And the person next to me was super nice, because he was just like, hey. It's like 4 hours later. Do you want to get some food? And I was just like, okay. And then he helped me do that. He was like, the bus is leaving. I was like, awesome. I need a babysitter forever, because no one spoke English. And I was like, but I slept the whole time. And then, when I showed up, I got off the bus and I was like, I don't even know who's picking me up. And then the most beautiful people ever in the entire fucking world show up with a fucking little baby dog. And I was just like, yes, fantastic. So they were like, do you drink anything? I was like, vodka. And they were like, we got it. I was like, hell yeah, my people. So then we went back to like this place and we hung out. And then my band showed up like 7 hours later. And we played the show and they had to leave immediately after. And then I got to party all night long, all night. Oh my gosh, it was so fun. And then I took a flight back to Madrid and met everyone else. And they were like, we're so tired. And I was like, yeah, hell yeah. Hell. And the last time, one more side note, just because you asked, it's fine. The last time I went to Europe, I missed my flight. I'm not going to say why. But I'm going to
I won't ask.
Yeah, don't.
If you're not going to say, I won't ask.
Yeah.
I'm polite.
So I missed my flight, and my partner was just like, no, and he was like, just come to New York. I was like, okay, and he ended up booking my flight like back to New York instead of Texas, and but there was a layover in Lisbon. And then the flight got canceled for another 24 hours. And my friends were like, we got a hot dog party. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Seems kind of sketchy, but I'm down. So I show up and it's an actual hot dog party. It's like a vegan hot dog party. And everyone's just like hanging out. And I was like, yay.
Actually was what they said it was.
Yes, it was awesome. And that night, I went back to their house and oh my goodness. And their band is called Sharp Knives. Look them up. They're dope. I was just like, what the fuck is on me? And it was the little kitten. Oh my gosh. Cuddling up to me. And I was like, this is the best, like, horrible thing that could have happened to me.
Miss my flight, go to a vegan hot dog party, get to hang out with a baby kitty.
Oh my God. It was tight. That same, can I say one more? Okay. That same trip, like that same tour, I got lost in the woods. Well, we played this. Oh my gosh, we played this like fest, and it was like in front of a bunch of people, and like Jeff and Megan weren't there, and they're like a huge part of when I look over. Like I have my solid people to once again like ground me into, I don't know, just being influenced. Like I don't know, they inspire me when I play.
Uncomfortable being able to allow you to drop your guard down.
100%. Then they weren't there, so I kind of had like I had a little bit of an episode like right after we like I played good. I played great. Ha. I'm gonna say that. But so I got off the stage and I really wasn't feeling good. You know, I was really disjointed just because I'm super dependent on all the layers. Like I need them, you know. And Jessie was like, we're gonna go to these woods and watch the sunset. So I was like, okay, cool, I want to go. And so I went, but so you had to like climb up this like little barrier thing. like, or it was like a little cliff, like, and I fell, like, trying to get up, and someone that we were with just like laughed at me in my face, and I was just like, I'm going to the car. And it just like broke me because I was like already like
in a rough spot,
not in a good place, and I was just like, yeah, I just want to watch the sunset and like, I don't know, feel better about like, I don't know, I just wanted. Sometimes when I mess up like one note, I'm just like feel the weight of existence just crushing down on me, and it's being a human. But so when they were like, they laughed at me, they were like, ha ha, I was like, man, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to the car, because I couldn't climb, like I tripped, like I couldn't get up once, so I was just like, man, I'm gonna go. I went the wrong way, and I got lost in the woods, and I had my stuffed squirrel, my tucka, and my phone at 2%.
Oof. Oof.
Oh my God. And the sun was setting, because I was like, it was like over 10 minutes. I was like, oh no, I should have been back at the car by now. Nope. No, not at all. So I texted my partner, like, he wasn't even my partner at the time. I was just like, tell Jessie, lost. And then my phone died. So it was just like wandering around these fucking woods, like straight the fuck up. And I was like, I found this weird, like, I don't know, this like structure, I suppose. I was like, okay. And I marked it. So I knew if I had to sleep, you know, you gotta make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Yeah. So I didn't get like just sleeping on, being like, oh, here, world, here goes. This is where I'm sleeping. But anyways, so about 30 minutes go by, and I'm like, I am lost. The sun is like pretty much down, and all I have is like my stuffed animal and a dead phone. So weird. Like, oh my God. Another 10 minutes go by. I'm still trying. I see some lights like above this like big cliff, and I'm like, okay, so if I climb up this cliff, I can see where there's like lights, so I can walk to the city, and I can find a phone. So that's what I did. I climbed up this this big ass cliff, and I found a road, and I started hitchhiking, and like, oh my God, that was another. I was like lost altogether for like 4 hours. I was like done. Someone finally, like after an hour of me like walking so long, this van pulls up, and they open it, and they're like, Whitney. I'm like, what the fuck? What the fuck is going on? They're like, come on. And I'm like, okay. And I sit in their van, and I have like my squirrel in my hand. I'm like, oh my God. I just start bawling, because I was just like, this is like, I'm lost in Germany. Like, fantastic. Whitney, you should have just climbed up the hill. Like, come on. Why is your ego so weak? I should have just been like, it is funny. But instead of being like, I'm going to the van, no, it's like, I could have just
lost
been
in the woods in Germany.
Yeah, exactly. So they didn't understand that I just needed like a phone to like call someone. And they were really freaked out, because I just started shaking and violently crying. And they were like, oh my gosh, we're gonna take you to Fred. Like, they were like, Fred. I was like, okay. And Fred was tight. He was awesome. He was like, oh, he was just like, yeah, I'll take you back to your hotel. That there was full accommodations. I was supposed to have a nice night. Like, it was supposed to be really nice. Instead of like trucking through the woods being like, ah, at least I have my squirrel. Like, what? It's fine. So I showed up at the fucking hotel. He didn't have a key to it, which is fine. I was just like, I will sit out here. Like, it's genuinely the least.
Much better than the woods.
Oh my god. Yes. Like after, like, oh my gosh, I was in the woods. Oh my gosh. Like 3 hours. Like I was so scared. I was just thinking about the news and being like, I don't know, backpacker lost in the woods, never to be found again. I'd be like, that's me. Like, how am I gonna find water? Like, do I wait till it rains? Like, I am not equipped. Like, I can be like homeless as fuck in a city, but I'm in the woods. I'm like not the most. It's fine. I made it out. So I was sitting outside of my my hotel, and another like 30-hour goes by, and my band shows up. They're like, hey, Whitney. I'm like, hey. They were like, oh yeah, we just went back to the festival. It was really fun. I was like, cool.
Glad you had a great time.
But that was it. And I just went to bed. I was just like
fuck this. I'm done. I can't get out of bed.
I mean, I'm really not supposed to say that story, but they really didn't know where I went. Well, obviously, because I was lost.
You're lost.
What the fuck? I was fucking lost in the woods.
Oh man.
So ridiculous. It was crazy. But I'm a resilient fuck. Like, I hate that I am, because I keep surviving. When I'm like,
Well, I'm glad that you survived that, because that means that you managed to make it back.
Hell fuck yeah.
And since you like low key dropped it earlier, managed to release an album on Fat Wreck. Look at this proper interview technique, coming full circle with it.
Full circle. We have been about full circle all night.
All night.
Like,
all night.
So good.
So you made it. You made it out of the woods of Germany, got back to the United States, and was able.
Hell yeah.
To get on Fat Records. Tell me about how that must have felt getting signed to Fat Wreck. It
was a long time coming, for sure. Like, they like, I'm trying to word this the right way, but Mike has been like a homie as fuck, and really, I think the thing that solidified it for me was the fact that I do look up to him for starting this label. So when I expressed my I guess my want to do the same thing back then, he was just like, I couldn't have done this without getting signed and learning about the ins and outs. And he was my friend, and he is my friend, excuse me. Oh my gosh. I was like, he was my friend one time when he gave me this prophecy. Like, no, it's like, it's fine.
Imagine Fat Mike as a prophet.
I know, my gosh.
It's like imagining like Jason Mewes as a prophet in Dogma.
Oh no.
Like, where are you gonna lead me? To a bunch of trouble and a good fucking time.
That's awesome. That's all we want, right?
That's all we want at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a puppy or a kitty.
Where's my cat? Kiko!
So, I can imagine getting to work with Mike must have been something else. What was that like?
He's like genuinely, he's my kind of like person. like, it's like what I was saying earlier, it's like it's all on the table. It's like, this is who I am, and someone that wants to be listened to and appreciated. And same with me. I'm like, I talk a lot. I just want to be heard. And like I don't know. So we're really, I don't know, we're 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 friends, and I just really appreciate, just I'm not even thinking about the album now. I'm just thinking about like all of the beautiful things that like encompass like him as my friend, and it's like really awesome. And that's the whole thing with Days and Days. It's like we work with friends. Like, it did take me like 2 years to be convinced to sign, and because I am a hard ass and I am scared of people and I don't fucking trust people, and I am I'm sassy. I'm just like,
You're
no,
Whitney
no,
fucking
no.
Flynn. That's
Yeah,
who you
motherfucking
are.
Flynn. Yeah, I'm nice, but
But you
like,
know what you want.
I take care. No, I take. It's not what I want. It's what will take care of my band. What will initially
I like
take care
that.
of my family. Like, I don't give a fuck about myself. Like, I do care to the small, like, to a reasonable extent, but my entire drive for life is to make sure that the people that I love and that the only way that I can care for them is to try and be successful, like try to arrange my life like in a way that can benefit them. And that's what happened, and it was really with people I trust 100%, because I would have never signed us if Mike wasn't just like bought me pancakes all one time. That was
So do you
oh
think
my gosh.
that that the success of Show Me the Blueprints was really because it was such an earnest effort from all fronts, from the label, obviously the band being a family, but also having somebody in charge that's not only has your best interests at play, but it's actual a friend and a mentor. Do
That
you
was
think
it.
that was all this cumulative effort to why you Show Me the
That
Blueprints
was
broke out the way
exactly.
that it did?
I don't know if that's necessarily, but that's why we did sign, and that's why we did choose to like work with people that understood us, that were patient, knowing that we had never been like in a real studio before, you know.
You
Like,
traditionally recorded at Jessie's parents' house.
yeah.
So to be able to go from
Years
there to
ago.
a place you would kind of grew up in and shared, and you were very comfortable going into a professional
Where
studio.
people are just like staring at you, and that's why we ended up not being super successful recording in the actual studio, and got moved to, we're such sensitive bugs, like, oh my gosh. We got transferred to, we didn't get transferred, we got offered Johnny's house, and
Go
it
and
was,
record there instead.
yeah, it was like a way better, like, I mean, they genuinely accommodated like every question, every like, and taught us a lot, like the entire steps, because me and Jessie have done this ourselves. Like, it was scary. It was scary being like, what are you doing? What, like, being like, no, show me what you're doing. Like, not trying to be aggressive about it, but being like, this is mine. Like, it's
Yeah,
scary having someone else like take
especially
something
when you
so
have
like
like
personal.
what 7, 8 albums
Oh my god.
splits
Yeah.
before that you two had managed the responsibility of that on. So to
It's
let go of that must have been huge.
it was like it was a big thing. And the thing about Fat is like they accommodated like our our needs, being like, we have this house and you can sleep there, and there's dogs, and there's like this comfort level where
The
like
studio was less familiar.
no, I couldn't. I can barely do this interview with seeing like oh my gosh, could you imagine? I was just like, I don't even know how to play the trumpet anymore, and I'm like, I gotta pee forever. Like, just leave me in the bathroom. Oh my gosh, I can't even think about it.
I think the first time I went to a real studio, I like forgot how to play guitar entirely. I was just like,
oh my god,
wait a minute. I wrote all these songs. And I'm like, oh, fuck, where do I even start?
It just like vanishes in like a second. And it's like, I know what I'm saying, but I don't know how to say it. Like, I don't know. But they were so accommodating and so incredibly, like, I don't know. I genuinely couldn't have asked for a better, like producers and like people that it was weird to have all these like really super successful people being like, I don't know, what you're saying is important. Like, people want to hear this, and we want to like give you the tools to tell your story, which is like, I'm gonna cry, but it's like, that's being validated at that like level. It's like really, really different. It kind of is like, why? Like, what? It's like, I was telling Jessie, I was like, oh, my yelling, finally. I'm like Grandma Whitney. I'm like, oh, my yelling one day, like, it made sense. You know, yeah, I'm happy about it.
It's interesting when you get to a point, like, not only where like you might deem as like, oh, this is like a major win for us, you know, like, I mean, anything in that regard. But when you look at like the scope of it all, like for you to go from the DIY, the DIT, the do it together, you know, recording it, you know, yourselves, putting it out yourselves, and then you get somebody like Fat Mike involved, who, you know, whose name is famous all across the world, and the weight that it brings in. And then when you're there and the realization, they're like, holy shit, here we are in the studio with that mic, we're doing this is actually real. I could only imagine what was just going through, like, I would be feeling a million different emotions.
But okay, so we did pre-production, which I didn't even know what the fuck that meant.
I do work.
Yeah, I still don't know. Honestly, I was just like,
it's a fancy notebook. Don't let anyone fool you.
I have no clue. Like, to this day, maybe I should Google it, because if it's like boring me that much. But I had written this song like 2 days before we flew out to California. And like, we had the producers, and like Mike was there. Like, I don't know, I was like, I wrote this song. I was just like, I don't know if it's like, I don't know. I was really, I mean, I'm still self-conscious about like speaking my truth forever, like, is terrifying. But they were like, okay, go, and you're recording it. I was like,
okay.
I was like, okay. And then Jessie like learned it right then, and then we recorded it and just laid down the track. And that was like, I kind of had like a weird episode, and I was just like, like, I'm gonna smoke cigarettes forever outside, you know. It was nerve-wracking, and we ended up re-recording it at the house. And I want to say this on the record, it was a one-take wonder. I'm just saying, I recorded that fucking shit in one fucking take.
Which track?
Fast Track. he like, Johnny looked at me, and I was just like, okay, one more time. He's like, no. He's like, that's it. And that song is really, really, really important to me. It is about being angry, like allowing yourself to be angry at people that have died and still loving them and still appreciating it. And like, still, I don't know. It was just, they were like, this is on the album 2 days after I wrote it. And I was just like playing it. You know what I mean? I keep hitting myself. It's like, I just played it for them. And then they were like, nope, on the album. Get in the studio. And I was like, oh. And then they were like, yay. And I was like, yes. I don't know. That's, yeah.
So would you say out of, which is, I mean, to ask any artist, be like, hey, is there any track on the new album that, really stands out? But is that the one on Show Me the Blueprints that really just like really resonated with you?
Oh my God. I've listened to that. I haven't listened to it in probably like months. After this, I'm going to be like, so, I think the one that grew on me the most was Flurry Rush. I still have my broken fucking ankle. Fresh out of detox. I was just like, hey guys, takes me a minute, it's fine. But I would try to do, like, I try and walk. I don't know. People walk. Okay. I'm being like, I'm weird. I take walks. Like, no, that's normal. But
normal thing.
When I guess my like quiet times, it's like my time to talk to like my dead friends, or like, I don't know if that's praying or just like kicking it with your homies in your head, being like, I wish you were here. What's up?
Regardless, it's cathartic.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like, it's basically my time to be like, I would call you, but I can't, that song really, it's like, I don't know. I'm zoning out. I'm like, oh yeah. It's just, oh my goodness. It really encompasses like, I'm trying my best right now. How the fuck do people do this? Like, how am I supposed to keep making friends if like all my friends are just like in my head now? That song means a lot to me. And then Rewind fast track. I have to do like pause and play, like, but Rewind is we re-recorded it from my old band, My Peace, My World. Rewind is like, oh my God, here's a shocker to everyone. If anyone's listening, I'm an addict. What? No, obviously, we all struggle with recovery, and I'm thankful to be like healthy and happy now. But when I wrote that song, it was when I know you didn't ask this. Is this okay? Okay. I wanted to score, like, I needed something. That was the first time that I've realized whenever I do have cravings or whenever I do get overwhelmed, it's like, go write. Because that was the song that was like, I can't do anything. I can't get mad because no one's around me. Like, what am I gonna do? I don't want to hurt myself. Like, so I just took that song and I was just like, I wrote it in that night, and it's like, I call it my manic love letter to myself, just being like, you don't have to tell your story today, like, not today, like, but it will, even if you have to lie to yourself enough until it is okay, like, and that whole thing was just, I'm glad that I got to re-release it on this new album, because it is like a very huge part of my daily life, like in resorting back to that when I do feel overwhelmed. I'm like, no, you do things, like you create, like put that energy into write about it. Like, you're angry, write about it. Don't get, it's hard to remind yourself of that, to
But it's
kind of,
good that you created a reminder for
oh
yourself.
my god,
So when
I keep saying
you're
I'm
having those
my own best
moments,
friend.
when you're having those moments and you're, however you describe it, as being manic, or I refer to spiraling out, those moments where you created an anchor point for yourself. You can go back and be like, listen, this is for you. This is your reminder. This is what you need to remind yourself in these moments, to find solace, to find peace, so that you don't rewind.
Wake up in the morning.
Yeah. You don't.
There's importance into like what you're feeling. Like, people don't. I mean, I'm subject to that as well. Like, people have a lot of things that they can't express, so you gotta. It kind of gets reasoned by doing drugs or getting drunk, or it gets dampened, or like it kind of gets like numbed out, instead of being like, hey, what's up?
And identifying it.
Yeah, just being like, you're here for yourself. Like, let's talk about this. Like, let's figure out what that urge is, what that like empty place in you wanting to exist. How do, like, explain it to me, because you don't even know it. So, I mean, for me, it's like writing about it, being like, what is this? Like, why do I feel the need? And then it's like the full circle of things. It's like, oh my goodness, this goes back to this, and then this, and then you start narrating your own life instead of like being dictated by, I mean, I'm just saying, fuck the stigma, and fuck anybody that chooses to be this superior motherfucker. Like, I'll give you my address and I won't let you in. That's what that's what I'll do. I don't know. But people need to be more kind, and most importantly, people need to start being kind to themselves. Like listen to yourself. Like, I'm still doing it.
It takes time to learn to be
obsessed. I'm like,
it takes steps.
Yeah, like, but really, in those times of like cravings, writing about why, like that why factor, being like, why am I feeling like this? What is triggering me? Like, and that's a huge part of just like, I don't know,
the road of self-discovery.
Yeah, growing like compassionate, like,
yeah, as compared to growing cold and disconnected to the world, growing into more of a loving, compassionate individual, as you just discovering yourself more along the way, which is truly important. At the end of the day, it's one of the most important things, is just to be able to feel comfortable in your own skin as yourself, as an individual, to feel validated, to feel seen, to feel worthy of love and worthy of acceptance. These are all
yourself too. Like, you are worthy enough to love yourself.
That's the
fucked up thing. Like, people, like, I'm still working on that. I'm like, with the self-harm and like being like, I can't do this anymore. Like, you want to like every bit inside of you is like trying to like rip out of you, and you're like, I don't know how to do it. But just taking that patience and being like talking in third person, what the fuck ever. Like everyone else can fuck off. You can be crazy. Like if they want to call it crazy, you can call it self fucking love. Like talk to yourself. Like be like, okay, what's up?
And exactly, work through those moments. Find out what you need as an individual in order to feel successful in your own life or even in your own headspace.
And then everything in your life, you like learning patience with yourself expands to patience with others. Yeah. Like
absolutely. And usually usually, you know, in most regard, we learn the opposite of that. In most cases, we learn to be, you know, to be copacetic with people around us, and then you just kind of stuff down. And that's where these types of situations where you can grow into addiction, self-harm, mental health, you know, identity crisis, is because you just continue to ignore that internal monologue that you're trying to have with yourself.
Yeah. I mean, it's the whole thing when I was saying, like, you like you gotta work around the world, like you gotta have the world work around you instead of you working around the world. Like you're important. Like you are like I'm just like thinking about all the people like the compounded amounts of trauma in my head of all these people that like you are like, I'm gonna start it through this, but you're able and you should be heard. Like you like your story is important, and any way that you express that, it doesn't have to be in words or music or like in any arts, like spreadsheets, full circle.
It literally, you know, the thing that makes you feel most comfortable being you. That could be mathematics, it could be science, it could be cooking, it could be gardening or caring for animals or people, you know? It's finding that true internal monologue, hearing it earnestly for what it is, you know?
Like passionately, like
anybody takes anything from this conversation, is go and have a true earnest conversation with yourself. I feel a lot of us, because of everything that's happened this year, a lot of people were forced into that. Other people, you know, they chose to have that moment of self-reflection to kind of gain some traction, gain some perspective and understanding on some of the things that are happening in the world. Other people, you've been ignoring that for far too long, and it's now is a better time than never, you know. You know, it's never too late, you know.
And it's scary too,
you know, for anything, let it be addiction, drinking, self-harm, self-worth. It is never too late to take a step forward for yourself. You know, you have value, you have worth, you haven't demoralized yourself, you're not unworthy of love or help. Nobody should ever call out for help in this world and be ignored.
And you are worth forgiving, like, yourself. Like, it's just a part of it all. Like, it's nothing can't be like, I don't know, just give yourself a fucking break. Shit.
Give yourself a little bit of credit.
Like, okay, there's a line in a Night Gaunt's song. It's like, do yourself a favor and let yourself smile. And I love that. Do yourself a fucking favor and let yourself smile, because you do. It is important.
That's and a beautiful message.
No one's gonna give that to you. And I hate saying that, because that's all I ever used to like. It's like all anyone really wants is like, save me. But
you gotta feel safe with yourself first so again.
It's like so like I'm still working on it, but it's so fulfilling just being able to be like, have a little patience and a little bit more understanding of who you are, and getting to know yourself is like weird and like uncomfortable, but it really just does change like your perspective of of everything, just
You're
how
right.
you're treated, how your boundaries are, how people should treat you. Because when you have a standard for yourself, that sets a standard for other people. And like, I don't know.
Those moments of realization, though, like it does get better. It
Yeah. Or
truly
lie until it does.
does. Like
Yeah.
when you can take a moment to give yourself a little bit more credit,
Yeah.
find value in yourself, to see yourself in a new light, to even begin to like
That's
yourself
your fucking limit.
again.
Like you are good enough. My fucking God. I'm gonna yell just for 2 seconds because straight the fuck up. You are like the amount of shit, no, stuff I went through, like realizing that the good enough. And it like that's like baseline. And then you're like, oh my fucking God, I am unstoppable. Like, without crossing the borders of like being like, I don't know, super being like, I'm the best. But like take that like that love for yourself, and like that's the point of progression, of that kindness.
Oh, absolutely. You've gotta I've always said, like, you got to learn to be comfortable in your skin, and when you do that, you start to become more comfortable with everybody else around you. Honestly, the food tastes better, the hugs feel better, the love is better.
And you
Puppies feel
actually,
softer. I don't know what it is.
I mean, and some people get pissed off. I'm just saying they're like, oh, you realized what you should have realized this whole time. And then you're like, oh, you're mean to me. Oh shit. Like you're not here for me. Like you're here for yourself. Like in that sucks. Just saying. But it does give you like this basis of understanding you don't have to be like, I don't want to say you don't have to be treated like shit, because you don't, but also um there is like building that confidence can, I don't know,
It
help you
changes everything.
express that this is my standard for myself. Yeah. And maybe I'm not saying to get rid of your friends or family, like whatever, but I'm saying that being able to articulate your boundaries and your needs is a huge fucking thing to
It
like,
is.
yeah,
Getting
it's
to know
so,
yourself, or getting to understand yourself, because nobody can truly know anything 100%. We're always growing, we're always evolving. We're never the person that we were 5 years ago, nevertheless 5 minutes
my
ago. We're
God,
always this new amalgam as we continue forward with our life. So nobody's telling you to, like,
those
hey, go
painkiller
and
comes
know
anymore.
yourself. Just start
No
to
one can have
understand yourself a little bit better. Give yourself a little bit more credit out there, world. you
it. Yeah,
know and you'd be surprised with the beauty and possibilities that would lay before you when you just give yourself a little bit of a break and a little bit of a chance.
and let yourself smile.
Applaud yourself a little bit. It's enough. You got up, you did the thing, you did your job, you came
Oh
home,
fuck
and
yeah.
good, you made it through the day. That's an accomplishment. Be proud of that. Like I said, it's not big, giant cinematic moments. It's the small moments that make it up in between.
And that makes it big. It's a
That's what
fucking
makes it
puzzle
big.
piece,
That's what makes it
man.
grand.
Like the puzzle pieces are small, but the puzzle's big.
You eventually start to see the big picture when you just start to have a little bit more compassion and understanding for yourself and other people around you.
It's so important.
It is. And
And
honestly,
hard as fuck to do. I don't know. I
it's
do
not
a
a
lot of
conversation
crying.
that people have all the time, which is why, like, when people are willing to have this conversation, I'm a very willing participant in it, because I think it's important. You know, learning to love yourself and the world around you again is what we need more than anything
and it's
right
not
now.
easy.
We need less division lines, and we need more love. You know, we need more understanding. We need more compassion for things around us. You know, and when people get passionate and compassionate about the things around them, the world is truly just a beautiful place in that regard. So
we got to be more
this has been awesome, Whitney.
Yes, you're amazing.
You're amazing. You're breathtaking.
Oh my goodness.
I'm like Keanu Reeves you. You're breathtaking.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm glad that you got to see my red light syndrome.
And we worked through it together. And that's
we
what new
did. You see
how
how comfortable I am now? I'm like, hello. I was like, we gotta redo it. Oh, my phone died. Help.
But you know what? We persevered together. You know,
100%. And you were fucking important and so incredibly amazing. And I'm so glad to meet you. That's awesome. Yes, new friends. Meow.
I know. This has been amazing. And me, truly kindred spirits from not too far away. And I hope when things open up again, we'll be able to do much more in the future.
We can vape together. It's gonna be like a whole
yeah, we can totally sit outside and chug clouds all day and just piss everybody off with our for me, mine smells like cookies. I've got like a brown sugar graham cracker thing going. I
went back to the fucking Jewel.
You're on the see,
I went back to it. Okay. Oh, look, I have my whole stash.
I need mine to taste like breakfast or candy.
Oh my god, I need mine to smell
Which is
like
terrible for kids. Kids, don't listen to me, and you shouldn't be watching my show anyways. You're not old enough, kids. Get out of here. Go to bed.
Get out of here. I had that sticker and it was like, this machine, like I have these stickers. Oh my god, if I don't have them. Okay, so I have these stickers like this machine kills fascists, but I just cut it out and I was like,
Arlo.
This machine kills. So, but I had to take it off because I dropped it in a secret.
That'd be just to like put this machine kills on different bits of machinery in public.
People need to be understanding about
putting Arlo Guthrie stickers everywhere is pretty badass too. Putting this machine kills fascists, then that's pretty amazing too. But the kind of social prankster that I am, I would totally be this machine kills, and I would put it like on like the most random things, like the button for like opening up doors. And be like, whoa, is this a killer button? But that's just me. That's just the way that I think.
I did have like a friend who was just like, they're just stoplights. Like, I'm not gonna let a light dictate me. And then I was like, then he like,
try fighting the sun then.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm not gonna let a light dictate
story.
me.
I'm not gonna tell it. Hold on, but I'm gonna do this. 1 second. Ooh, that's easy. Meow, meow, meow.
Do I get a sticker?
Yeah. Oh, I'll do it like this. No, I'm gonna. Oh no, this is for the kids. I'm sorry.
Oh, this is for the kids?
Yeah.
That aren't supposed to be watching my show in the first place.
This machine kills. Don't vape, kids. Don't drink vodka. It's like potato water without the potatoes.
Yeah.
No, and without the water, I guess, too.
Yeah, without that, too. I'm also a vodka drinker and a whiskey drinker.
You know what? I trust you now. See, you didn't tell me that, but...
Whiskey was my drink of choice for a very, very long time, and as of the recently, I've had to.
No, vodka's like, don't drink if you don't drink, but vodka's like where it's at.
It's been my intermediate for me. It's been good. I don't overdo it.
Yeah, same. Yeah,
the vodka hangover. Oh.
What? Oh my god, I just drink too much. I was like, what is a hangover?
These are things that
oh my god, my fucking
get every once in a while.
Yeah, no
whiskey I didn't, but like vodka or like and I'm probably gonna get fucking crucified for this. Those fucking alcoholic seltzer drinks.
Oh my god!
They give me the worst headache. I feel like I'm just like awake.
But this is also like getting older is like your body legitimately tells you no more.
Yes.
And you're like, but I'm gonna try, and then it's like, hey, I don't ask for much, and like if you like legitimately do nothing, I will still take care of you. So stop, and then we'll talk in the morning. Like yay.
Oh, I like that.
Yes.
Whitney, before we part ways, any parting words or anything coming up new with Days and Days before we say goodbye?
100%. Oh my god. Oh no. I am tomorrow. I am going to Connecticut with. I'm gonna go record a solo split with Jessie. If you haven't heard of him, please do. He's massively important and like one of my best friends. He did a split with Pat Bunny a while ago, and
nice.
We're gonna just. I'm so excited to release that, and then we have our Oogle Death Machine coming out, and we're basically doing all of our old releases getting spread out. Also, we have a oh my gosh, I know you're like talk. I'm like, wow, let me have an hour. So we have a 7-inch coming out of a cover that we did by Andrew Paley. It's on Spotify, and I like it a bunch, and it gets annoyingly stuck in your head. So that's like the warning that I'm telling you. Andrew Paley's awesome. What else we got? Oh, I wanted to talk about. Oh, sorry. Okay, never mind. I'm not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Our merch is through Flail Records. We have different benefits going on right now. We have one of our shirt or our vinyl going to get meals and like blankets for people, and then if you buy the Whitney motherfucking Flynn shirt, 50% of the profits go towards the legal funds for the women in the detention centers in Georgia that were violated, like oh my gosh, like sterilized like without consent, and we are continuously trying to benefit those
individuals that need
we gotta all work together
right now more than ever.
And then also I have Emma Fest coming up, which will be streamed via Days and Days Facebook, which will be a direct support towards harm reduction organization in New York. And then I have Folksmith coming up December 18th. See, I'm doing a lot of things, okay? I'm like, okay, December 18th and 19th, that will be benefiting Rose Ridge Helping Hands that I've been working with for the past 10 years for every Folksmith. And then I also have another show that I haven't booked yet, and these are all via live stream. That will be another benefit show to help the legal funds of the beautiful people, and like the moms and the dads and the babies at the border, because we need to all really genuinely stand together. Just because Trump isn't in office or whatever, like when he gets out of office, this fight isn't over. Like it's not going to change overnight. So we really need to like band together and not be distracted by the election. We need to be distracted by the fact that like there are so many deserving people that aren't given the same amount of voice or respect that we might be able to give to them. So we all gotta really rally together forever and just forever help everyone. Yes, yes, yes.
Champion those people that need it now more than ever,
Yeah,
that need,
please.
need those who can lift them up to lift them up.
Yeah.
Those who are able need to do so, and now is the time more than ever.
Yeah, it is important. If you, I mean, I understand that a lot of people take offense saying that they have privilege, but you, like, the first step is recognizing that you do have privilege and not taking that as an offense, but taking that as a grounds to help other people.
It's
So
perspective, like, massively.
You really need to take advantage of that, of the security or wherever you're at, or to advocate and be a voice that certain people aren't privileged to have, and that's why we're humans, and that's why we have to be together and stuff.
And it's like you said, there is a massive amount of work ahead of us, but it's truly beautiful to see when a band truly gets involved with these important social issues that are happening. It's not just one group that's being marginalized here in the United States. There are several groups that are being marginalized and need to be amplified more than ever. So it's truly beautiful to see other people take an active interest in the community around them. Those are the people that I want to surround myself with.
Yeah, I mean, Days and Days it has become this really impactful platform for us to be able to raise money and give. We over the years, like over the past, I guess when we actually started, I guess it's, I don't know, I'm not even gonna try to quantify this, but we've always been here to try and help everyone, and because we don't need much. They're like, do a thing and shower, and you're like, oh, I don't know, but it's fine. We're gonna keep that a secret.
Keep that mentality, keep that willingness to stand up for your neighbor, or to stand up for not your neighbor, your fellow citizen here, your fellow human being, not even a direct citizenship. It doesn't matter if you're here in the United States.
God,
you deserve.
What the fuck is a paper worth? Oh my God, I'm about to get
borders are just lines drawn in the sand with a stick, but that's a whole other thing that we could get into.
Oh my God, I could talk forever. We've been talking for oh my God,
like 7 hours.
7 hours.
Like 7 hours.
7 hours now.
This is the long.
You're incredible. Oh my God,
you've been incredible. This has been great.
Oh my God, you're amazing. Thank you.
This has been one of the best Sundays I've had in a long time.
This was like 3 months worth of therapy for me.
Oh, I thought I could be that beneficial.
Thank you so much. Oh my God,
Whitney, you've been awesome.
Important. You're fucking important, and I really, really, really respect you, and I appreciate you, and genuinely, you're just fucking a really kind, and oh no, it's more compliments, an amazing person, and yes, sure.
This has been beautiful. This is amazing. It is earnestly beautiful to see when a band is so committed to the community around them. So Thank you, Whitney. Thank you for sharing your story.
Thank you so much.
It really means a lot to me. And I know that these are important conversations to have. And I hope that if anybody listening can find solace in these words, then do so. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Not alone.
Not alone.
the whole thing.
We've
Yeah.
all come a long way, and
we're all going
forward
someplace
together.
Yes, 100%.
Whitney, you rock. Thank you for hanging out tonight.
Thank you so much for inviting me and talking to me and being like a really, really kind and beautiful person. Yes. Yay.
Thank you. Well, I've definitely my family just grew one member bigger today, so thank you for that.
Oh. All right. Don't be a stranger.
Same to you.
Oh, my stuff. Meow. Da, rah. Okay, hold on. Let me say it. Don't be a stranger. There he goes.